So, I may have very recently acquired an Eras tour ticket. Thankfully, one of my friend's boyfriends came to his senses and realised that he wasn't that much of a Swiftie, and maybe somebody else, me, might benefit from buying the ticket from him. So we stan it. It's very Bertolt Brecht. What there is belongs to those who are good for it, and I intend to be so good for it. Now, in usual circumstances, this would involve me flurrying about trying to source a little Eras Tour outfit. However, if you've been to this channel before, you'll know that I'm doing the year of make do, which means that I'm not allowed to buy any clothes. Not even secondhand. The rule is, if I want it, I have to make it. And oh, do I want it? When's the show? It's in 4 days. I think we can do it. Shall I show you the plan? So for this outfit, I was thinking we're going to have to go with a dress because we don't have time to make more than one item. So dress it is. Okay, that's easy. And it means I don't have to make a crotch. Now I should probably pick a pattern that the sewing community has already signed off as super easy and very thorough and very good. And also a pattern that I have done before. So I have chosen the Adrift Shift dress, which is a pattern I already have cut out. And in fact, I am wearing my first version of that dress, my little Wilma Flintstones dress here that I made to wear to the women's prize party. Now, I'm glad I made this in the fabric I did because it's very flowy. It doesn't actually matter that it's a little bit big for me, but that is very good to know. As you can see, the arms gape a little bit. It's just a little bit big. So what I'm going to do is cut out one size smaller. I very smartly printed out the smaller size on this sheet as well. So I'm going to cut out one size smaller and I'm going to do it in the most magical fabric ever. As soon as you see this fabric, you know which era I'm going for. So 1989 is my favourite Taylor Swift album. So I had to do that. And I really like her rebranded album cover. So I got this kind of jewel tone, sky blue / purpley fabric that I absolutely love. It's very crinkled because I washed it, but I'm going to give it a little iron now. And then we're going to cut out the dress. But there's got to be something else that makes it 1989. And oh, do I have a plan? This is a raincoat that I sourced secondhand and I'm just going to cut it up and use it for fabric, so it doesn't count. I just wanted to get some secondhand fabric for this project. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out some stencils of seagulls and then sew them to the dress. And then it'll be really, really 1989-y. No? Okay. Now we don't have that much fabric, so I am going to make this dress shorter and I might not be able to do the ruffle on the bottom, but frankly, beggars can't be choosers. There's no bad blood if we run out of fabric, so let's just give it an iron and try it out. Progress has been made. This is my original pattern, as you can see, and I have shortened it slightly. I followed the pattern maker's instructions. She said if you're going to shorten it, use this line. So I did it because I'm an obedient little bitch. And it's a little bit shorter, as you can see. This is my original dress, and then this is where it's hitting me a little bit higher. You get the idea. Then I turned to my trusty Tilda rice packs as pattern weights to cut this baby out, and I also disassembled the funky raincoat, so I know what I'm playing with that. So this is what the dress is looking like so far. Something that I'm a little bit sad about is that this fabric seems to be permanently creased. I've tried to steam it, I've tried having a damp cloth over it and then ironing it, and it's just not playing ball. I imagine it's just a very, very delicate fabric that I don't really understand, but I've made peace with it as a learning curve, and the nature of the fabric that I'm going to be using for the seagulls is really crinkled, so I'm hoping once they go on, it's going to look intentional. Now, my next task is to make some seagulls out of this fabric. And I'm thinking that it might be good for me to do that at this stage before I actually sew the dress together, because is it not going to be like 10 times simpler to attach seagulls to this dress while it's flat before I make it 3D? Welcome to the seagull factory. We have been trying to perfect the seagull for approximately 3 hours, and I think we're almost there. I started looking at different free stencils on the internet, and this one was too ugly for me. That's just that's one of those seagulls that's definitely going to poo on your head. I don't like that. This one kind of was nice, but it looked a little bit like an eagle, so I had to reject it. This one was close, but it was too big. I realised it was going to overwhelm the dress. So I made it smaller, and where's my stencil gone? Here it is. And this was the final result. out. He was put into the sausage machine and duplicated and manufactured into many different forms. And then I pinned him in so many different iterations onto this dress. You have no idea. I went across the boobs. I tried to do a flight thing over the shoulder. I did them all around. I did them just as like a lining on the bottom. And this is what we've ended up with. Maybe simple is the most effective. And it was very hard to like get everything in the right place without a beak poking at a boob or something. So it took way longer than I was expecting, but I think we're here. So the next stage is for me to sew these babies onto the dress. I am not going to do a test because I don't have time, but I am going to start at the back. So all of my mistakes will be on my butt instead of my boobs. And that's all we can ask for in this world. I think that's a great way to live. So I guess after all that, shall we actually get sewing? It is the next day and the dress has been assembled. And this actually looks way better than I thought it would. I think we're actually going to get past GCSE textile project and maybe make it look like maybe I bought it. Which isn't the aim, to be fair. Like, I want people to know that I made it because I want to be smug when people ask me where I got it. Sizing down was a great choice for me. This feels like the perfect fit. I'm absolutely awful at boob darts, but I feel like because there's so much else going on, you can't notice how bad I am at it. All that remains to do now is to bind the neckline, bind the armholes, hem it, and somehow try and get out some of these creases because I'm okay with a creased look. But I think that this is a crease crisis still. I'm going to try and steam it a little bit more. Another saving grace was that I realised that the material for the birds that I was using is so incredibly plasticky that there was absolutely no need for me to fold them over or darn them or do some applique or whatever. I just cut it and that stuff is never fraying. So sewing on the birds was the exciting bit. Let's go do the boring bit, finishing the details. Oh.
And so, as I added the final touches to my dress, I wondered what kind of night I would have once I slipped it over my head. Would the Eras Tour feel like a party or a pilgrimage? Was I about to have a transcendent experience, an out-of-body moment, or simply a few glorified pints with friends in the sunlight? Oh yeah, they told us we couldn't bring food into the arena, so obviously I stuffed my bra and my pants with snacks, resulting in me being called flapjack tits for the rest of the night. Anyway, here's the truth. It felt very ordinary and otherworldly at the same time. It was almost like attending the wedding of an old friend where all the guests were wearing their best and had yet to meet each other. There was like a festive feeling in the air, but also it was full of conversations about phone batteries and office foibles and toilet directions. The music was obviously fab, but so was the feeling of being stacked up alongside thousands of people who were having one of their best days, and more shockingly for British people, willing to show it. I also wanted to be honest that if you're sitting in deep seething FOMO right now, that I realised that actually being in the stadium isn't the best way to hear the music or admire the stage or get a good look at the costumes or even see Taylor herself. Unless you're at the barrier, the detailed, immersive and transcendent experience of the Eras Tour can be had at home. I walked into that stadium feeling like it was the first time ever I was going to see the Eras Tour, and I walked out realising that actually it was a very familiar show to me. I'd seen it lots of times before, and just because those experiences were at my local cinema or on my sofa didn't make them any less impactful to me. And I don't think that that's any less of a real way to attend the show. That being said, to be at Wembley that evening was to be part of a party. I realised there was something really special about bellowing songs into the air that have held you privately for years, with strangers who have felt just like you and will again, in an atmosphere of belonging. And for some of us, in dresses, we have made ourselves.